If you're visiting New Zealand's South Island, there's one place you have to add to your itinerary: Kaikoura. Kaikoura is known for both whale watching and kayaking with dolphins and seals. The first day we arrived here, we saw dolphins and seals almost instantly, but unfortunately a storm was predicted, so our kayaking was cancelled. We had a lot to fit into our time here, so left Kaikoura only to return 4 days later when better weather returned. We hired our kayaks from Kaikoura Kayaks, and pre-warning, it wasn't cheap. We had done some research and it looked like this was the only company that offered kayak hire. The only other company in the area only offered tours. With this in mind, we hired a double kayak for 4 hours, which set us back a whopping $160. I did warn you it wasn't cheap. As budget backpackers, this isn't what we would usually spend. We hired a kayak in the Philippines for the same amount of time for just $10. But we'd seen the reviews and knew we couldn't pass up the chance to get so close to the dolphins. We went for the 8 AM option for 2 reasons. 1, it's the best time to see marine life. 2, it was the only time slot left, as we'd booked it last minute. We arrived, checked in, filled out a form and followed Matt down to the South Bay. Here, he went over a lot of safety precautions, such as how and when to use the flares, how to get back into the kayak if you capsize, etc. We were also given a phone, a walkie-talkie, a first aid kit, 2 main flares, 9 backups. I'll be honest, the safety talk was enough to scare me a little bit. The half-an-hour safety briefing was necessary though, given the sheer amount of marine life living here and the chance of natural disasters such as earthquakes and therefore tsunamis. Safety briefing complete, we jumped straight in and headed over to the Whalers Bay, where we saw lots of seals bathing in the sun. Whilst here, we heard the tours over the walkie-talkie saying they'd spotted 2 pods of dolphins, both Hectors and Duskies, over the opposite side. We rowed as quickly as possible, and after 10 minutes, the tours were leaving and the dolphins came to play with just us. We were amazed at the sheer number of dolphins in the water. They weren't bothered by us at all, and some even started to show off and jump out of the water. We passed a paddleboarder who told us to row faster because the dolphins like to play in the wake, so we followed her advice and had 2 Duskies following underneath the kayak. If you're wondering what dolphins sound like when they're playing, this is it. The dolphins stayed with us for nearly an hour. It was honestly a highlight of New Zealand for us. We left them to it and headed back in, spotting a single penguin and then a seal spinning in the water. This was honestly the coolest experience, and despite the high price tag, in our opinion, it's a must-do when you're in New Zealand.